Hello! I'm going to read to you today Armadillo Tattletale. This book is written by Helen Ketteman and illustrated by Keith Graves. So Helen Ketteman's the one that wrote the words, and Keith Graves is the one who drew the pictures. Armadillo is our Texas state small mammal. That's a small animal, and that's what Texas has officially adopted as our Texas state small mammal. So let's learn some things about an armadillo, and also what do we know about tattletaling? Let's check it out and see. In the bare bones beginning, Armadillo's ears were as tall as a jackrabbit's and as wide as a steer's horns. With such wonderful ears, Armadillo could hear anything and everything, and he loved nothing better than to eavesdrop on other animals and tell tales about what he heard. What do you think eavesdrop means? Eavesdrop is when you're listening into a conversation that you're not really included in. But as good as his ears were for hearing, they dragged in the dirt and stuck in the muck after a rain, and always made him trip. Thus, Armadillo was the slowest of creatures. And since the other animals disliked him for telling tales, they beat him to the watering hole every day and forced Armadillo to scrounge through the mud for a puddle of murky water to drink. It tasted awful and practically made him sick, so he drank as little as possible and was always thirsty. This sign says, "No dillos." Look at that face. One day, as Armadillo stumbled around searching for a puddle, he overheard Egret whisper to Turtle, "Blue Jay's feathers are looking a bit scraggly. I wonder if the poor bird is sick. I'll call on him tomorrow to see if I can be of help." This bird here is an egret. So look at these ears. They're eavesdropping on the conversation that Egret is having with Turtle. But Armadillo went to Blue Jay first, twitching his little tail as he spoke. "I heard Egret talking about you. He said that he thinks you look scraggly looking." Blue Jay squalled and he bawled and he squawked and he gawked and he otherwise threw one humongous hissy fit. "Squawk, squawk, awk!" Now, is that what really happened? Tattletale Armadillo is kind of telling the story very wrong. When Egret heard what happened, she went straight away to Armadillo. "What you told Blue Jay was not true. Anyway, my words were not for your ears," she scolded. And she pick-pecked his ears good and proper and gave him the what for and the how come and the why not. Armadillo cried great big armadillo tears, and he promised never to tell tales again. But the next day, while searching the mud for a sip of water, Armadillo heard Muskrat and Butterfly talking, and he hid in the bushes to listen. "Rattlesnake's rattles used to be terribly out of tune, but now they sound wonderful. She must be taking music lessons," said Muskrat. Armadillo tripped over to where Rattlesnake lay warming herself in the sun. He shifted his weight from foot to foot in an awkward armadillo dance. Rattlesnake opened an eye and Armadillo grinned. "I heard Muskrat talking about you. He said your rattles sound terrible and out of tune." Rattlesnake rattled and she prattled and she fussed and she cussed and she otherwise threw one humongous hissy fit. "Rattle, hiss, hiss!" When Muskrat heard what had happened, he scurried to Armadillo. "You twisted my words into something I did not say," he shrieked. "Besides, my words were not for your ears." And he whick-whacked his tail at Armadillo and gave him the what for and the how come and the why not. Armadillo cried buckets of tears, and he promised never ever to tell tales again. Look at, he's crying. But he did not tell the truth. But the next day, while slogging through the mud looking for a drink, Armadillo saw Alligator and Blue Heron talking, and he stepped behind a rock to listen. Toad's skin is looking so much better than it used to. I wonder if she changed her diet, said Alligator. Look who's eavesdropping over here behind the rock. Do you see who's eavesdropping? Armadillo shuffled off to find Toad. I heard Alligator say your skin is plug ugly and you should go on a diet, he said with a twinkle in his eye. Croak! Ribbit! Croak! Toad hopped and she flopped and she wailed and she railed and she otherwise threw one humongous hissy fit. When Alligator found out what Armadillo had said, she hurried to find him. Why did you tell Toad those things? I never said them, she snapped. Anyway, my words were not for your ears. She gave him the what for and the how come and the why not. Seems like Armadillo makes everybody angry. And now, she said, I'll fix your ears so you won't be snooping and telling tales again. And she opened her mouth and gnashed and clashed her big, strong alligator teeth. And then she ripped and snipped and clipped at Armadillo's ears until there was nothing left but tiny, teeny, itsy-weeny little ears. When she finished, Armadillo looked at his reflection in a puddle. His ears were so tiny. Then he started to cry. Oh, did he cry? He raised such a ruckus that all the animals came to see what had happened. When they saw his ears, his new tiny, teeny, itsy-weeny little ears, they stared and they gawked and they whispered. Armadillo stopped crying. What? He asked. What are you whispering? Everyone gaped at Armadillo because, for the first time, he hadn't quite heard. Look at that. Oh. It was not for your ears anyway, Muskrat called out. Armadillo's face turned red. I did not hear the whispers, but I heard that, he said, chasing after Muskrat. In seconds, Armadillo caught him. Did you see how fast Armadillo ran? Muskrat shouted. He didn't trip at all, added Blue Jay. Why is he so fast? Now we'll never be able to keep him away from the fresh water, said Rattlesnake. Armadillo felt his teeny, tiny, itsy-weeny little ears, and he said, fresh water! That is just what I want, and it's fun to run fast. Then he danced and raced in circles and zigzags all the way to the watering hole, where he drank as much fresh water, clear water, as he wanted. From now on, I will never be thirsty again. And he wasn't. You see where he ran and zigzagged and circled and wiggle-waggled and danced his way all the way to the watering hole. Now that he doesn't have those long ears to trip over, he can get there fast. He also stopped telling tales, for even though he could hear with his tiny, teeny, itsy-weeny little ears, he couldn't overhear the other animals' conversations. To this day, armadillos have small ears. They always drink their fill of fresh water, and you may hide in the bushes and listen as long as you like, but you will never, ever catch an armadillo telling tales. The end. And that's the back cover. Did you like Armadillo Tattletale? Do you know someone who sneaks around listening and telling tales that aren't quite true? Now, this week in your lessons, you're going to practice your ABCs. And I want you to remember when you're writing your letters to start your letters at the top. Like this one right here, at the top. So let's sing the song. Where do you start your letters at the top? Where do you start your letters at the top? If you want to start a letter, then you better remember to start it at the top. Is this the top? No, it's the bottom. Is this the top? No, it's the middle. Is this the top? It's the top. Where do you start your letters? At the top. So you might want to start your B down here and go up and around, but no, start at the top and go down and then around and around. So practice your letters this week, and I'll see you tomorrow for another story. Bye.